So something strange and honestly a little concerning is happening right now with the Nintendo Switch 2. You might remember, not too long ago, I did a video checking out the MIG Switch. This aftermarket cartridge that lets you back up your physical Switch games and load them onto an SD card to play them all from one cart. Sounds convenient, right? Well, after testing it myself, I was mostly trying to figure out, is this thing safe to use on the Switch 2? Could it actually brick the system? My early impression was that no, it didn't destroy or damage anything. It just didn't work fully. But since then, things have escalated. We now have reports that Nintendo might be detecting the MIG Switch cartridge, and people are getting console banned after using it on the Switch 2, even if they're using completely legal backups of their own games. This has caused a lot of commotion online, and today we're going to break down exactly what's going on, why it's a big deal, and whether the MIG Switch is something you should stay far away from. So this all started picking up steam on Reddit, where users began sharing stories of getting their Switch 2 consoles banned shortly after using the MIG Switch. The first big post that made the rounds? It was titled something like, "My Switch 2 has been banned and I have no idea why." Classic internet mystery, right? But of course, Reddit being Reddit, users started digging into that person's post history. Turns out they were pretty active on the Switch 2 hack subreddit. Eventually, they admitted they had used a MIG Switch. Now, to be clear, they claimed they were using it with legitimate backups, their own dumped games, not pirated ones. But clearly, something tripped Nintendo's servers and flagged their console. More reports started surfacing soon after. People who used the MIG Switch, even just for their own personal game backups, found themselves console banned, with some warning others to stay away from using it on the Switch 2. Now here's the twist. The MIG Switch isn't marketed as a tool for piracy or hacking. It's sold as something that works on a stock, non-modded system. It's supposed to be safe to use. That was the entire appeal. No jailbreaking, no mod chips, just pop it in and back up your physical games. And technically, it does work for that purpose, especially with Switch 1 titles. But here's the problem. That sense of safety was always based on assumptions. There's always been a huge question mark hanging over whether Nintendo could eventually detect the cartridge or flag a system for having it plugged in. And now it's looking more and more like they can. A few people pointed out that the Switch 2 firmware might now be scanning for unusual behavior or unauthorized hardware, especially as Nintendo rolls out tighter security measures on this new platform. Some users even mentioned that firmware updates might have changed how the Switch 2 interacts with these kinds of third-party accessories. That alone makes things even riskier. So what's the takeaway here? Honestly, it comes down to risk. If you're using a MIG Switch on a test system, or something that will never go online, maybe you can justify it. But for your main Switch 2 that you just dropped $450 or more on, it's not worth the gamble. Even if you're doing everything legit, your own games, your own dumps, you're still relying on the hope that Nintendo can't detect what you're doing. And with the way their ban system works, that's not a safe bet. Once a console is banned, there's no appeal process, no getting it back. It's game over. Literally. And the biggest issue? The MIG Switch is becoming unpredictable. Some people report that it works fine, others say their system was banned shortly after using it. It's a giant gray area, and when you mix that with a brand new console like the Switch 2, which probably has new detection methods baked into its OS, you're really just stacking risks. Also worth mentioning, some of these online listings for MIG Switches are starting to look super sketchy. Like, you don't know where the cart came from, what firmware it's running, or whether it's been tampered with. That's a whole other can of worms. In fact, one user who shared their ban story admitted that they went online with the device still inserted. And even though they were using their own backed up games, that was enough to potentially trigger the ban. So it's not just about using the MIG Switch, it's also about how you use it, and even when you use it. Going online at all while it's plugged in seems like the biggest red flag right now. As for my own Switch 2, funny enough, I did test the MIG Switch in it, but I haven't actually taken it online yet. That Switch 2 is kind of my lab unit right now. No personal account on it, no online play, just used for experiments and videos like this. But eventually, yeah, I'll probably sign in and find out if it got banned or not. Just for curiosity's sake, and if it is banned, honestly, that's on me. I used it on camera. It's part of the risk that comes with testing stuff like this. But for the average player, this could be devastating. Imagine buying a brand new console, dropping hundreds of dollars on games, and then getting locked out of the online service just because you trusted some third-party accessory. The MIG Switch is no longer something I can recommend. Not for the Switch 2. Too many unknowns, too many risks, and now real reports of console bans rolling in. If you're desperate to back up your games or carry everything on one cart, look into homebrew options on an older Switch 1 model. They're cheaper, more well-documented, and far less risky now that Nintendo's attention is clearly focused on the Switch 2. For now, I'd stay away from anything that hasn't been officially greenlit by Nintendo, especially if it plugs into your console. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Has Nintendo found a way to outright detect the MIG Switch? Do you think this was their plan from the start? Or is it possible people are getting banned for something else entirely? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.